Good afternoon, Abuja. It's another moment. Program is Kiddies Rights Corner Show on 104.5 Love FM Abuja on the hills of Mpape. My humble name is Aunty Teacher. And today I'm having my fellow teacher in the studio. We've been in this game of teaching for over a decade. And I ran into him some days ago and I said, I know you love children. Can you just come? Just come. Let's talk about education of our kids. Let's see how it goes. And coincidentally, he's here. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, people of Papi. Good afternoon, people of Abuja. I'm Samuel Ubong, and it has been a beautiful experience being in the education sector, and I'm happy to be here today.
And for those who are just listening for the first time, Kiddies Right Corner Show is a show for the kids, by the kids, where they explore their academic excellence and the abstract. Even those things they don't have any knowledge about, they ask questions and learn from them. I have a book here with me titled Nipsey the Ginger Cat. Now, you can use this book to demonstrate what the ginger cat did by not reading it. You just demonstrate. That alone, I need to read this book. This one that Aunty Teacher is demonstrating what the ginger cat did. Okay, let me read it to really get the picture of the story. You can also use that simple tech. You said our library is really working.
Well,
have you had any idea about the one in FCT? Let's not go into the other states. Let's just use FCT as a case study. Our library is really working.
Well, it still boils down to a lot of factors, because if an establishment, just like Love FM, because it is relevant or that people actually listen to it. Now, the library system is an institution for those who are interested in it. There are people that may not really key into the idea of going to the library because of the idea of access to social media, access to other forms of entertainment. So in olden times, the library was a form of communication and socialization. If you wanted to meet some people, where do you go to? You go to the library. So you meet like-minded people. But social media, I'm not trying to call out names, but you would rather meet people online than go out. So the libraries are only working for those who are interested in it. So you find out that people that have research to carry out and are looking for materials for research and they can't find it online. So you see, they have no choice but to go to the library. Historically, the Alexandria Library in Egypt was the greatest library in the world, and it was located in the seat of civilization, which was Egypt at that time.
Really?
So you could see that why Egypt flourished was because of their educational system and the library. That is one of them, aside their culture and all. But one of the focus, like even great leaders, we could say Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, there's a kind of linkage. They still refer to go to Alexandria, go to the great library in Alexandria. So the library today has transformed. We can't talk about how it has evolved so far because it's another talk for another day. But the evolution of the library has entered into our phones as soft copies. So the relevance of library, let's come back to Nigeria, as I earlier on said, is just based on interest and the people that it serves. So that is all I could say about that. But notwithstanding, the library is still functional.
It's functional.
Yes, and
okay. When last did you go to the one in FCT? One in, I think, is it area 8 or so?
Well, the last time I actually went to a library, it's been a while,
It's okay.
but I was looking forward to going to a library
Okay.
recently. So
Then you're a reader. Why? I thought you would have at least gone there before coming here, so that at least we talked last week, and I needed you to make random sampling so that you tell the children how good is this library, most especially the secondary school students. Remember the pupils, they may not really, except the ones in the school. I would say the government libraries is more advanced, but I think there should be a section for different categories, like the kindergarten, the nursery, the primary, and the secondary, and the undergraduate, who are the ones in the university. I think that is how the library is supposed to be. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not too sure about that.
well, the idea of the library should not be like a graveyard for books to start with.
Okay.
For me, the library has transformed, and I'm also a dynamic teacher. So I have also changed from the hard paper back.
Okay.
So you could see that I have tons of books that I get lost in when I hold my phone. So, but transitioning, education has transitioned, and schools now know the value of offline or online
teaching. Okay.
So you could see the context now has changed. Prior to what happened during COVID and after, and the restriction in movement, we actually saw that nobody could move. So schools were doing online learning. So you could see the transition in.
And they are still doing it.
Exactly.
Yes, they are still
And
doing
it has affected the curriculum structure. During the COVID period, I remember we had to change the timetable. Like, let's say 12 to 1, 9 to 10, for instance, we would do online. So, and then till we were able to meet the proximity of the student. Now, about the library, that's why I wanted to go back to the idea of what is reading itself. So that definition I would have rather given, or I'm about to give,
Okay.
would have to be in line with the current happenings, because there are different kinds of people, and now they no longer flip books. Reading has transformed. Even podcast for books. Yes, okay, like Nipsey the Ginger cat you mentioned now.
Yes.
Yes, if you were to read it now, you have a hard copy.
Okay.
If you're a visual person, the illustrations might help you. But if you are just an audio person,
Yeah.
a podcast should work well for you.
Well.
So you know that the modernization ideology has been so dynamic that a lot of students that have learning disabilities, they are not visual. You could help them with the audio. So if they are audio and visual, so you see it's a multifaceted experience we are having now. So reading, the idea and the definition you used as encoder really stands out. So it's not just flipping of books, and that is where the library is becoming outdated.
Obsolete.
That's the word. So but the beauty in it is that you will find historical facts in printed form, unlike the online that anybody could paste or post anything, copy and paste.
Hold it there, Mr. Sam. All right, let's start this. Nipsey the Ginger cat telling us what is going to be when he grows up. Come and tell us. So it's time for you to tell us more about reading. What do you think about a reading culture, Mr. Sam?
Well, reading culture is not a tradition per se, but it is a habit, a healthy habit.
Healthy habit. I like that word.
So, reading culture is a healthy habit where you voluntarily enjoy reading.
Crave to do it.
Exactly. So there's a craving to learn or want to read or soak up information
Yes.
that have been printed. Now, like one of the issues that you mentioned about poverty being one of the, what was the second one again?
I said the volume of book and lack of attention.
Yes, these three issues are very key because first, poverty, you first need to eat before you be able to concentrate, before your eyes are open to actually say, what is this text talking about?
Exactly.
Now, I think sustainable development goals, poverty is one of the points that has been raised. Sustainable education, and poverty has to be eliminated before education can have its course. So poverty and education are kind of related. Why is this so? Now, Nigerians, or in Nigeria rather, we have this mentality that you have to go to school. Now, education will help you fight against illiteracy, but being educated will being literate rather will not make you rich. It can't guarantee you being rich.
Who told you that?
But
if you're literate, you have all the ideas to make money. What are you talking about?
We have ideas of people that they've been to school, but they are still suffering from poverty.
Carrying big books about.
Now, education will help you fight the cause of illiteracy that would make you to be able to read. Okay? But it is that knowledge that you have learned from being an illiterate person that will help you to get to wealth.
Exactly.
So that's why we have so many people that have graduated and have not been able to use their literacy armory that they've gotten from reading to fight poverty. So you see, they are both related. Poverty, literacy, education, and then something like wealth generation. So that's where entrepreneurship comes into play. Because you can read, that's why you see that even people that don't know how to read, that are illiterate, they still succeed in their businesses, but they still come back to that aspect of, I need to be very literate.
Okay.
So it's also a key aspect. So now poverty is, I think I've touched the subject.
Yes, you have.
Now the second one is the volume of
the book.
Now we have a challenge, which is attention span. Children nowadays don't have attention span like they used to. Yes. Our experiences while we were kids, we would be disciplined. We know that if you don't concentrate, you would be disciplined. There's a cane waiting for you on the side. Yeah, so this gives you that idea that you have to concentrate. Recently,
my mom is a case study.
Okay.
Like, seriously.
I share the same experiences too.
Yes.
I saw technology that in China, they wrap it on their heads. If the child is concentrating, it shows green.
Green, activeness.
Exactly. If the child isn't concentrating, it shows red.
Red.
So it helps the teacher to know who is in the class. The child is evaluated. So technology can be taken out of education. It's here to stay.
Yeah.
Now, books, like doctors that have read books,
volume of books, not just books.
Yes, volumes of books.
There's this particular book called Anatomy of Human whatever. Because my kid sister is a nurse. The day she brought the book home, I was scared. I said, sister, how are you going to read this? I got scared for her. You know?
So time also has a role to play because a 90s or 80s person would see you flipping that book like, yes, you're reading very well. But as things have evolved, technology, you see them still carrying tabs, but they are still soaking that volume of books. Now, the main idea is motivation. Why are you reading this book?
Exactly.
Why do you want to probe into this large volume?
Purposeful reading.
Thank you very much. So you could see that it has to be intentional.
Yes.
And that is one of the culture we need to inculcate in our kids. As teachers, educators, parents, it has to be purposeful. And the method of evaluation has to change.
Okay.
I shouldn't tell you like what happens in the world in most underdeveloped countries. It's more of garbage in, garbage out, garbage out. Read, define, list, explain. Instead, it has to be a form of evaluation. Let's say I have a child. Let's say I have Jane in my class, and I give her a book to read. Instead of giving her define this, we say, okay, Jane, in the book, let's say, okay, Nipsey the Ginger Cat.
Okay, fine. Let's use this as a case study. Okay.
Let's say Nipsey the Ginger Cat. I've read the book, and you say, okay, what did Nipsey wish for? Or what did he do when he was hungry? So now the child is not defining what Nipsey is. Nipsey is a ginger cat,
He's
of course.
He's a ginger cat, yes.
That is fact.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. And we have to go out of factual information to valuable information. So what do you pick out of it? I think that's what our stories from our traditional stories were all about. All those tales by moonlight. We grew up reading, knowing, watching. What is the moral of the story? So purposeful reading, and you know that you're picking morals from that, or you're picking something valuable other than definitions, would change the idea. That's why you see there are so many novels that are bulky, but people sit down to read. So
very true.
So it is interest here.
Interest.
Yeah. So how do we get kids to be interested in reading? There's the reward system. The reward system also has to be enticing enough. Like I know some families throughout the course of my teaching experience.
Yes.
They reward good behavior by.
I did same while I was teaching.
Exactly. That's
same.
good. That's good. They reward good behavior by giving treats. For instance, okay, like we don't have chocolates every day. But for the task that you finish,
I'll just give you a piece of chocolate.
You're having your chocolate. So it makes the child want to look forward to that. And then sometimes you mustn't really give much. You just have to praise the child. Acknowledgement. Because
appraisal.
Yeah, so when you give acknowledgement, like, oh Jane, you did well.
You did well. Well
this
done.
Is beautiful. And also sometimes let your children catch you talking good things about them to others. It's very important because it is a form of motivation that you don't need to buy chocolate. You're like, oh, I was at home and Jane did this. She read this book and explained this, and I learned a lot. Jane taught me something. Jane would want to read more to teach you more. So it's more of interest. And another thing is we should be able to, because there's a lot of things, but we'll just narrow it down to what we can access. We should reduce the consumption of too much entertainment. There should be activities outside. Your child should be able to ask you, Daddy, what are you doing? It's okay, I'm trying to read. I read about subsidy removal. And then the child will be like, subsidy?
Exactly.
So you have added to the child's vocabulary.
Will be curious, like, Daddy, what is subsidy?
Exactly. So you see, children learn from us. They mirror us.
Exactly, they mirror us.
Yes. Yeah, so as a parent, you don't leave your child experience to another person, because the teacher's job description is 40 hours per week, and parenting job description is up to 20 years of their life or more 20 plus X. So
plus X. Find X.
So these are issues that we need to look into.
Yes.
And I think parents are doing a great job because of what's happening in the country. the economy. It's a global thing, and inflation for quality education is expensive, it's pricey. So we're not here to bamboozle parents that you have to do this, do that, but there are some little efforts and some changes that can happen.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sam. I feel so excited you on my show. I'm very happy.
Thank you.
Did I really deserve this?
And more.
Oh, really?
You deserve
all right.
more.
You will still come again. Now you listen. He said, when I grow up, I want to fly to the moon in my spaceship, spending my noon and afternoon. When I grow up, I want to help those who need help. Read out the quiz questions for them that they will answer this question on our next episode. Children, I hope you're listening. These are the questions for your take-home assignment for today. So you listen Saturday next week, you give me the answer because you listened while I was reading The Wish of the Ginger Cat. Now, question 1 is, what would you do if you go to the space? 2, where would you like to sail to? 3, what ways can you help others in need? That's from the Nipsey the Ginger Cat. Okay, I hope to get your answers next week. Interesting. And that will be the wrap up for the show on the Kiddies Rights Corner show. And with me in the studio was
Mr. Samuel Ubong.
Okay, Mr. Samuel Ubong, who happens to be a seasoned teacher for over a decade now, and is also an author of a particular book. Don't worry, I'll let you know soon. And my humble service, Aunty Teacher. We hope to hear you on this show on Saturday. And my wonderful producer, and Calabar Pikin, thank you for producing us on this show. We really appreciate. And to all our kids out there, Aunty Teacher loves you. Keep being good and take your academics seriously as you'll be resuming back to school on Tuesday. Be good. Don't keep bad company. That's my passing shot. Bye.
100% love.